So this is Peacemaker Season 2, and it's here to remind us that not all heroes wear capes. Some of them actually have metal toilet bowls on their heads and have issues with their father and are incredibly proficient at murder. And so the big question was, how was this show going to connect with the new DCU? Last season it ended with a bunch of the characters from the old, dead DC universe showing up, looking confused and very disappointed. So James Gunn responds to this. He just fucking ignores everything that happened in the first season, with the Justice League showing up, that is. And then he gaslights the entire audience like, yeah, the Justice League showed up, but they're called the Justice Gang now. And by the way, Superman looks totally different. The show just looks at you and says, You didn't see that. That didn't happen. That was all just a big mirage." It's an incredibly bold move, and I think it's rather hilarious on top of that. It's a soft reboot, so soft that it's barely even a pillow fight. It's like slapping a band aid on a shotgun wound and calling it a day. It lets the show focus on what we actually care about: a murderous man-child and his group of deeply dysfunctional friends who are all trying to get through the day without dying. So the real meat of this show is the team, the so-called 11th Street Kids. This season, they're not just fighting butterflies, they're actually fighting their own deep-seated emotions and damage, which I think is more dangerous and more fun. It's like watching a group project where everyone has a D minus average and they're all just hoping the teacher doesn't notice. So James Gunn creates this masterpiece and making you root for these people who, in any other scenario, you'd be avoiding at all costs. They're a support group that kills people, and honestly, they're probably more efficient than most traditional therapists. It's like finding a treasure chest, but it's full of used socks and a bunch of hand grenades. It's the weirdest goddamn treasure in the world, and yet you still want to watch it. Also, James Gunn has been very vocal about his new DCU, saying he wants it to be less about good versus evil and more about geopolitical Game of Thrones style power struggles. Government and corporations all trying to stab each other in the back, and what a better character to explore this than the guy who puts on a ridiculous helmet and kills people for the government. Peacemaker is literally a pawn in a larger, uglier game. He's a man trying to do good in a system that's designed to be morally bankrupt. He's a perfect metaphor. I mean, we see this with the introduction of Rick Flag Sr., a guy who was also in Creature Commandos. I can't even speak right today. So a guy whose whole job is hating Peacemaker because Peacemaker killed his son. I mean, what a great workplace dynamic. You killed my son? Well, now you're my problem. It's the most awkward HR meeting in the history of covert military operations. It's like corporate trust falling, except the person that you're falling towards just tried to murder you. So now let's be real here. The true horror of this show has never been the aliens or the government conspiracies. It's Christopher Smith's dad. The original Augie Smith was a walking, talking nightmare of white supremacists. So how does season 2 double down on an emotional trauma like that? By giving him a taste of what he's really wanted: a multiverse version of his brother and father, who are still alive. This isn't a fun what if scenario, it's a psychological torture session. He gets to see what a happy, functional version of his life could have been like. It's like watching your favorite meal being prepared and then someone tells you that it's for someone else. So he has to confront the fact that in a different reality, he could have been a happier person. He could have had a family that wasn't, soul crushing, and it wasn't just a black hole of hate. It's a terrifying morale test, a psychological minefield where he has to choose between a fake life of peace or a real life of pain. And if that's not a pitch for a darkly comedic superhero show, then I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, James Gunn isn't just fixing the DCU. He's doing what he does best. He's taking the most broken, messed up parts about the universe and turning them into the most compelling stories. He's giving us a DCU that's not afraid to be weird, messy, and occasionally uncomfortably funny. The new season of Peacemaker is the proof of concept. It's a show that doesn't need to save the world to be great. It just needs to save one deeply flawed and deeply damaged dude from himself. And that, I think, is a cause that we can all get behind. It's the one good thing in the genre that's become as predictable as a pop song from 2007. Now, this is going to be the part where I talk about Marvel and DC now, how they are kind of competing with each other on this idea of shows and what should be being put out for people. So before you go typing furiously into the comments about how I'm a shill for DC or whatever, just hear me out. I'm not saying Marvel is bad, but let's be real. Lately, it really feels like they're just microwaving leftovers. It's the same generic, safe slop over and over again with mediocre acting, mediocre stories, lower budgets. It just ain't working too well. Like, for example, you got shows like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, She Hulk, all of them. But for the most part, they feel like they were designed by somebody in a culinary experience where every dish tastes vaguely of Disney synergy and future movie setups as well. They're not bad per se, but they're rarely great. They they're safe, they're palatable, and they're the cinematic equivalent of unsalted crackers. Then on the other hand, you have Peacemaker. This show, ladies and gentlemen, is a gourmet meal cooked by a madman who just snorted a line of pure freedom and decided to make a TV show about a hyper patriotic, morally ambiguous assassin who talks to a bald eagle and has a pet alien butterfly. It's great. And the number one disputed champion reason Peacemaker slaps harder than my dad after a few too many beers on Thanksgiving is because James Gunn's singular, uncompromising, creative vision in this. You feel it in every frame. The dialogue, the needle drops, the utterly bizarre humor, it's all Gunn. It feels like a passion project, something he genuinely wanted to make, not something that has to be focused to death on in a group like by everybody to death. It's got an identity and it's got balls. And then Marvel shows, bless their cotton socks, often feel like they are pieces of a much larger puzzle. They're like cogs in the MCU machine. And while that's pretty cool for grand narratives, it often means sacrificing individual flavor. It's like going to a buffet where everything is technically edible, but nothing truly stands out, you know? Like one of those all you can eat places where the sushi looks like it's been through a blender. And this is also a big one. Peacemaker tells a complete standalone story in its first season. You start, you watch, you finish, and you feel satisfied. Christopher Smith's journey from being a misguided, prejudiced killer to a misguided, prejudiced killer, but with a tiny glimmer of self-awareness and maybe, just maybe, a sliver of a soul. It's a full arc. You don't need to watch five other movies or any other spin-offs, animated series, or anything to understand what's happening. It gives you a recap at the beginning, and then at the end you get closure. Versus Marvel shows, or on the other hand, feel like a half story. They're consistently setting up the next thing. Oh, this character is going to show up in Doctor Strange 2. This plot will be resolved in the Marvels, followed by like the screen rant red arrow pointing at something so obscure like a vase in the background, saying that it was in the first Hulk movie, therefore this is a huge setup for something. It's you get a little taste, but you never fully get the finished product. It's frustrating. It's like getting a pizza, but they only give you one slice and tell you to wait 6 months for the rest of it. Who does that? And let's talk about character depth. Peacemaker delves into Chris Smith's trauma. His messed up relationships with his dad, his struggle with his own violent nature. It makes you understand why he is the way he is, even if you don't agree with it. And it's not just Peacemaker. It's Vigilante, it's Economos, it's Harcourt. They all got their own moments to shine, to develop, and become more than just comic book archetypes. You actually care about these weirdos. Versus Marvel, on the other hand, and I'm looking at you, Falcon and Winter Soldier, the characters feel rushed or superficial. They're still good characters, and I still love them, but don't get me wrong, they feel like they're just checking off boxes for a hero's journey checklist. It's like reading a Wikipedia entry about a character instead of a novel. And let's be honest, we only use Wikipedia for looking up questionable fan theories and the dimensions of SpongeBob SquarePants' house. And the elephant in the room. The blood-soaked, foul-mouthed elephant. The R rating. Peacemaker goes there. It earns this R rating with graphic violence, copious amounts of F-bombs, and genuinely adult humor. And it uses it very effectively. The profanity isn't just for shock value, it's part of the characters' personalities. The violence is often darkly comedic or genuinely impactful. It allows the show to tell a story that wouldn't work otherwise. Versus Marvel shows, because of the Disney brand, they're stuck in the PG-13 cage. Like, guys, these movies have been out forever. This universe has been growing. The audience is growing with it. And again, not inherently a bad thing, but it does limit their storytelling. They can't have a character like Peacemaker truly be Peacemaker without the freedom to be absolutely filthy with it. It's like trying to make a hardcore porn film with a G rating. It doesn't work. So there you have it on that one. Peacemaker isn't just better, it's a breath of fresh, foul mouthed air in a landscape that's starting to feel like too it's a little too pristine. It's got heart, it's got humor, and it's got a clear vision, and it's not afraid to get its hands dirty. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Marvel can't do better. I truly believe they can. They just need to take a page out of James Gunn's playbook and let their creators actually create instead of just assembling another piece of their corporate puzzle. So, what do you guys think? Am I just a deranged lunatic, or do you agree that Peacemaker is the undisputed king of recent superhero TV? Let me know in the comments below and hit the like button if you've enjoyed this rant. And subscribe for more incoherent ramblings from yours truly. Take care.